What's up, guys? It's your boy Dan here. I just tried to stream a live, or do a live stream on my tablet, but it's too old a technology. So I'm here filleting some fish, and instead of watching YouTube, I figured I would join you guys and say hello and tell everybody what's kind of going on. There's some really exciting stuff happening with the shop. We're hoping to close June 1st. And yeah, hopefully be loading it up June and July and have the grand opening in August is kind of the loose plan right now. We're going to do something really cool in there. We're going to put a board with everybody's name who comes in and helps do anything. We're going to have like a community wall that says like this shop was brought to you by, and have everybody sign it. Maybe do some sort of cool thing like put a picture of them holding a fish, and at the bottom of the wall, we could put made for fishermen by fishermen. So got some pretty cool stuff in the works. The walleye fishing's kicking off. It's pretty good. It kind of was a slow start from what I was hearing. The guys seem to be I don't know, the water was just too cold. I mean, it seems like the surface temp's been plenty warm enough, but I know guys were struggling out of Dunkirk and out of Buffalo. Out of Hamburg's been okay in the typical spots like the Woodlawn Bar or right by Hoax or anything like that. Guys are getting them pretty good. I'll definitely say you got to go through your lures pretty good to catch them. I went out with Nick Jago from Crazy Tales. If you're looking to get out and do some nighttime fishing, Nick is the guy you want to go with. Check his webpage out, crazytales.com, or look him up on Facebook. He is an absolutely stellar guide. He's got a beautiful Lund tie. It's great for 3 people. You'll really have a good time. And, besides the other night, I've, always limited out. What's up, Bobby? But we got blown off the lake. We were out there enjoying, not a single person out on the lake, which is pretty non-typical for this year. It's usually really crowded this time of year with all the boats going out there, because you pretty much just have to get around 2 miles an hour and drop a stick bait off the back of the boat and drive around for a little while. But fine-tuning when the fishing's tough definitely makes all the difference in the world, like any of the fishing that we do. So we that was my buddy TJ just calling me. TJ, if you watch this live stream, what the heck, bro? Come on. I'll call you back, man. That's my buddy TJ from Oregon. He ties some beautiful jigs and pours his own lead heads, pours his own soft plastic, builds rods, guides in Alaska. I mean, the kid is a fishing machine. He lives out in the woods in this beautiful house that it was a fish hatchery or a fish tagging station on the Nestucca River, and they actually kind of condemned it, or it got really old, and TJ bought it and turned it into a really cool house, and he's got this beautiful apartment he lets me stay in above the garage, and I have absolutely the funnest time with him and his wife Devin. She is an awesome cook. It's just such a pleasure to fish with them. But yeah, so the steelhead fishing, I kind of thought it was done. And with his last, it's been 50 degrees on the button for a bunch of days now. Not a bunch of days, but 2 days. But we had, high 80s, 88, 89. I mean, I absolutely got cooked. My lips are so burnt right now. But yeah, we did some fishing for some inland trout. I caught some pretty cool inland trout. I'm really getting excited about that. The steelhead fishing, like I said, there are Why does everybody call me? And I don't get any calls all day, and everybody calls me when I live stream. And then they're gonna get pissed because I ignored them. that was my other buddy, Michael Sansevera. He's my Fruity Pebbles friend, but he just bought that Marilyn Monroe anodized reel. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but that's an absolute killer of a reel. Um, it's actually photo anodizing. There's only a couple people who do it in the world. There's someone in Taiwan that does it, and then there's my friend down in Texas who does it, and it's absolutely beautiful. I wish I had an example to show you guys right now, but I'm doing one right now for my buddy Jeremy as a memorial reel. He's going to get a 6-inch reel with kind of a Harley Davidson theme, and he's doing his dad on the back of the reel holding a steelhead, and we're going to turn the whole picture black and white and only leave the steelhead in color, and it's going to look absolutely awesome. I'm super stoked to do that project. He also gave me some of his father's ashes, and I'm going to have one of my resin guys cast the ashes and some of the resin, and he'll be able to take a piece of his dad with him kind of wherever he goes. So really excited to do that project, something totally different than what I've done in the past. So pretty excited. I've done some memorial rods with ashes in the bottom of them, but I haven't done any reels yet, so I'm excited to do that. Yeah, so back to the fishing and everything. The inland trout fishing, I've kind of been exploring. I mean, I thought I knew just about everywhere, and I started to go up into some kind of unique places. I haven't been way up in the country, and found myself on some private property that didn't look private, and never got to really do much of it, but I did scout some great stuff, and really am excited now that we got some cooler weather to go give it a try. And it was so unseasonably hot. I mean, the oxygen level was so low when I was there anyways. It was probably good I wasn't able to fish. But yeah, so there's really good smallmouth fishing in all the creeks right now. There is a bunch of steelhead left. There's a bunch dropping back. I haven't heard much on Ohio just because I haven't reached out to my resources, and everybody's been really busy with residential or commercial exterior work. So yeah, but I'm gonna find out about that. If you're trying to do some last minute steelhead, the Lower Niagara is always great. You can get down to Art Park or the Discharge or something like that. Go give that a shot before the season's over if you're really jonesing. That pretty much fishes good all the way until you can't fish it anymore because there's weeds in the river, and that's usually mid-June. And I'm sure if you really put the time in, you could catch a bunch of steelhead throughout the whole entire summer, but you'd be dealing with some weeds and stuff on your hook, and it would drive you crazy. They're also doing really good on the bar right now for the salmon. They're catching some unbelievable fish. I talked to a couple buddies who went out there and they were jigging kings off the bar, and I just can't seem to get anyone to go out there with the gas prices right now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This whole war in Ukraine is just so stupid that this day and age there's war of attrition going on with Russia, who's supposed to be an advanced superpower. Just absolutely so stupid. But so yeah, so we're all paying for it. I don't know the whole the political underlying that's going on with that, but I'm sure there's something more to the story. All right, I'm gonna fillet this walleye. I don't fillet fish very often, so I'm not going to do like a tutorial on how to fillet, because there are first mates that are just absolutely like can zip out a walleye in 30 seconds and have a big giant sharp knife. I have a sharp knife this time, but it isn't big and giant, so I'm going to do the best I can with what I got. Have you guys been getting out there and doing any fishing at all? I know that the springer fishing in the West Coast has been pretty good. There is also really good walleye fishing in the Lower Niagara right now. as well. If you go at night and you kind of scour the shoreline and you throw stick baits and jigs, you could really come up with some really awesome fish down there. I mean, there is some trophy walleye down there. There is trying to think of what else is really going on around here right now. I'm sure if you go down and you poke around at the piers and stuff in Lake Ontario, you'll find some really nice browns or salmon. So anyways, I'll talk a little bit about the shop right now. So we're going into, right now we're at 1,700 square foot, and we're going to be moving into 12,000 square foot, and we're, what's up, Robbie Brandt? How you doing, brother? Yep, the bass, they're definitely, with the warm-up, you know, there was a lot of big bass in this year. In all the harbors, you could pick whatever harbor you want that touches Lake Erie. It's going to be loaded. All the creeks have just nice big footballs with fins in there swimming around. So there's all kinds of different opportunities right now. I don't know if you guys ever mess with this cheek meat much, but it is like the bomb. So yeah, so the top half of the building, probably about 6,000 square foot of it is a VR gaming business. So it's got a bar and everything like that. You can go and you could VR game. You put on those goggles and you can, play the shooting games. Maybe they have a fishing game. I don't know, something like that. So I got 10 people. I got 11 people. Where are you guys tuning in from? What do you guys want to talk about? I don't know what is going on right now, but hey, what's up, Jenks from Indiana? How you doing, bro? Oh yeah, man, for sure. Goffster 173. Yeah, the cheek meat that's where it's at, man. I know in Ohio they call it Maumee River scallops near the Maumee River. Okay, this guy is done. So not as big of fish as last year, but you're from Ohio, Goffster. Are you doing any walleye fishing right now, boss? I had a gentleman, customer call me yesterday from Ohio to check on a stick bait order, and he said the fishing was a little bit slower. He said they caught some nice, 5 to 8 fish, but they didn't do great. They only got a few of it. Oh, I know where you're from, Robbie. Are you bumping around on the cat at all, bud? That was just an amazing fishery. I don't know if you guys got to do it this year, but the Cattaraugus was fishing like the good old days this spring. There was just some absolute bomber immature steelhead that were coming in there chasing bait. And I even caught some 2-inch to 4-inch little rainbow smolts, which I never catch those like that. Typically you catch them, they're stocked maybe 5 to 8 inches. If you're lucky, they'll be stocked around 10 inches. but most of the time, you don't get them that small. So I'm pretty sure those were wild fish coming out and going towards the lake. Hey Robbie, I don't know if you can maybe chime in. I know that the Senecas were doing some sort of stocking of brook trout, and I know last year I had saw some of those brook trout, downriver, almost in the lake, which means that this year, if let's just say they made it in the lake last spring, then we're going to be seeing coasters this fall. And if you guys don't know what a coaster is, that is a coaster is a migratory brook trout that either comes out of the ocean or it comes out of the lake. They get them in Connecticut and Long Island. Yeah, they kind of get them all over. I did see somebody in one of the smaller Lake Erie trips. I did see somebody get a coaster brook trout last year, and it was absolutely beautiful. So I think it was 24 inches on the tape or something, and they're really chrome, really nice fish. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited. I'm excited that those things are going to show up. I'd love to catch a lake run brook trout. I haven't seen one in about 20 years. The last time I saw one was in the Cattaraugus, and a fly fisherman caught it on a brown woolly bugger, and it kind of looked like one of these immature spring steelhead. It was. Yeah, I'm about to zip my fillets right now, Goster. But it was like a 24-inch chrome fish, just this faintest hint of blue, and it was absolutely beautiful. I'm kind of getting off track with the filleting because I'm talking so much, but I usually do them different than I'm doing them. I'm just forgetting the steps. I don't keep enough fish. It doesn't come super natural to me anymore. I haven't, I used to first mate on a boat and I was really efficient with it, but I just don't really do it fast anymore. Especially not with these smaller knives. If I had I don't know what these are, 5-inch knife maybe, or a 6-inch, I don't know. It's a pretty small knife. And it works for most of it, but I would have liked to have a bigger one. I'm actually getting the fillet off. I have a whole bunch of knives here, but they're all duller, so I grabbed these ones from the shop just because I knew I had to fillet some fish. That's one of the benefits of having a shop. It's also a curse because if you guys saw the amount of fishing shit I had in my house, every time my little employee comes over, Jeff Petronic, I usually let him just pick out a bunch of shit that I've had for a bunch of years. I kind of planned on keeping a bunch of stuff if I ever had a little boy, but I don't think that's in my cards anymore, so I guess I'm going to be just having girls my whole life, which is great. I love my girls. They're amazing. But yeah, after this is done, I'll zipper them, and of course, normally I leave the tail on, so I kind of have something to grab onto, and I kind of spaced out and cut them right off the main body. But yeah, so it'll be walleye season pretty soon. Lots of mini pin fishing's going to be coming out here pretty soon. I'm sure I've been getting pictures all winter long of just absolutely incredible trout, and kind of in unsuspecting spots. And these trout guys are slick. They, yeah, you're talking about the little brook trout, Robbie, I'm assuming? And was that in the main river, or was that in one of the little tribs? So yeah. So yeah, zippering them's pretty easy, and with my little girls eating the fish, God forbid they get a little bone, they'll completely stop eating their dinner if they end up getting a bone in their dinner. You know what I haven't tried though is they call them walleye wings, where they, that meat that's like at the front of their chest, where the two fins are. A lot of people, I know for salmon it's really good, but I know guys like it for walleye a lot too. I've never actually had it before. I don't know what you would do with it, but so you guys got any good summer trips planned? Anyone going anywhere? So for me, I'm probably gonna try to make it up to Michigan when the scams come in like July or something like that. I also plan on making it to Pennsylvania a bunch like I normally do. And there's some spots in like Eastern New York that I want to check out for trout too. I would love to go back to Jersey and do some striper fishing in some of the back bays, but my buddy Eric, who runs the Reel Seat, that's a shop. It's called the Reel Seat. He he doesn't really fish anymore because he runs the shop, and I always swear that I would never get to that point where I own the shop and I couldn't fish. Like it's one of them things that I just refuse to do. I'm absolutely never going to get to that point where I'm not going to fish. So if you guys come to the door and there's a sign that we're not there, we're closed, and it's a good fishing day, I apologize, but I got to be able to enjoy myself a little bit too. You only live once, and you can't be stuck the whole entire time working. You can't work your life away because it's great to be successful, but you really only live once, and you don't want to miss out on anything, I'll tell you that much. And spend as much time with your kids, because, man, I don't know what it is, but life just keeps getting quicker and quicker and quicker, or going by quicker. Yup, the new spot, Robbie, is right next to that Tony's Bayview Drive-In. The address is 3800 Lakeshore Road. So, I'm going to be selling I'm kind of in this predicament right now. If I'm going to be selling my old shop and using that money for closing and for renovations and stuff like that, or if I'm going to refinance my house. But refinancing your house, I only got a couple years left on my mortgage. I think that's a bad idea, And if I refinanced, I'd be starting from scratch pretty much, and my interest rate would go up about a whole entire percent, and there's like $14,000 in closing costs. So if I sell the building and it's for sale by owner, I'm sure there'll be some lawyer fees and stuff like that, but I should be able to do it with selling the shop. I hate to see it go, and with this new Amazon and everything like that opening up, if someone opened like a nice little pizza shop or a sandwich shop or something like that, where my shop is now, they would absolutely kill it, man. There's 40,000 cars a day that drive past the shop, and if you had something, Puerto Rican food with pastelitos and fried pork and, plantains and stuff, and you did a special once a week, or barbecue sandwiches, or brick oven pizzas, and you did the whole back of the shop as a kitchen, and the front of the shop would be people would come and pick up their orders, you would have to kill it. There's no good pizza on Route 5 from Buffalo till I don't even know. It goes all the way to Pennsylvania, Route 5, and there's no good pizza. stopped at that place, Vin Louie's on Route 5. It's called Vin Louie's Pies on 5. And I actually got a veggie pizza, and I had to send it back twice. It wasn't real good. Oh, this guy isn't the best looking. I don't know what this tumor-like thing is. Look at this tumor on his dorsal fin. Ugh. He hooked up with the wrong broad. And unfortunately his fins don't even reach his dorsal fin, so he can't even itch that whopper. Well, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Gotta stay away from certain girls, Mr. Walleye. You will end up itching in the morning, or a big huge lump on your fin. Come on, guys, talk to me. What's going on? There's 8 people here. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about new reels. How about that? So, I got the 5.65, the next edition of 565s. Tony and I just got them done. Tony's sister, Kristen, is working for us now. So she's kind of like really helping getting all the reels together to be built for when, you know, I get there, Tony gets there. And she's doing a really good job. So she's able to separate them so we know which reels go to which anodizer. And we also got some new machines at the machine shop, and they're just really, really cool. You know, normally we had 30 and 40-year-old CNCs, some from the 90s, which I guess that's 20 years old. But nothing too new, and we got some new machines, and it's so cool that it could do the front of the part and the back of the part. And you can just load all the stock in and it just runs. And it's great for making like little small parts like handle posts or center caps or anything like that. Right now I'm fishing a new prototype, the 4.24 inch. And I got it on my new 11-foot 2-inch Pinland rod. So we're playing with that right now. So far, I really like the Pinland rod. The blank's a little bit rough, the sanding job on the blank, but that could be fixed down the road. And the 4.24 inch reel is just, it's incredible. It really is. So I went and fished the Allegheny, which was an absolute blast. And I went and fished, like I said, I fished the Cattaraugus one day with it. And the 11-foot 2-inch, it's rated 1 to 5 pound. I did catch a nice steelhead on it, so it had plenty of ass for a steelhead. And I had a really good snag while I was fishing the Allegheny River and kind of like loaded up the rod pretty heavy. I didn't want to put too much into it, but at least I know the integrity of the rod is really good, and it should be great for everybody once I get them on the market. So it'll be another nice little steelhead slash big trout rod. I'm going to try to see if I could do it this year. I want to get up to Tennessee and fish with my buddy Jason Reap on the Watauga River or the South Holston. They catch some absolute slobs. I don't know if any of you have been to Tennessee, but holy cow, what a place. There is just some giants down in Tennessee in those rivers. Did I miss a cheek? Yep, almost missed a cheek. I'm also going to be going tuna fishing in, I got to look at the date again, but I got a tuna trip coming up, which I'm really looking forward to. Now with the price of gas, all those offshore trips are going to be just astronomical. I mean, I couldn't imagine what it costs to run a 40 or 50-foot boat out in the ocean. Some of them are even bigger. I mean, there's some of them custom boats. I was on a 70-foot custom boat in Florida one time, and it literally, the guy who took care of the boat, his full-time job was just to run the boat and make sure it was ready to go for when he came into town to fish it. And they always fish these billfish tournaments. I mean, this boat was millions of dollars, millions of dollars. It was so cool. It was called the Anastasia. And when you would walk on this boat, you would go down in the cabin and the guy would press a button and both benches would hydraulically lift. And then all the rods would come out like one at a time, like something out of a movie. Like, you know, press a button, bench lifts, rod, and they all had like a decal of the boat, and they had the matching boat colors on each rod. And I mean, these were like broomstick rods for swordfish and sailfish and tuna. But oh my God, it just blew my mind. I was so lucky to go on that boat. And the cool thing about it was because the guy takes care of the boat, I didn't even have to pay anything to go on it because he's running it anyways. So I got a question. What do you guys do? Do any of you guys have somebody you use to sharpen your knives? Not that I can't sharpen all my own knives, but if I can bring somebody 20 or 30 knives and have them sharpen them all professionally, I would love to do that. So I'm not too sure what y'all do, but I'd love to hear what you guys do for knife sharpening. Because I'll tell you, to sit there and, you know, it's hard enough time for me to find time to fillet all these fish. Luckily, like I said, I own a shop and I can grab whatever I want whenever I want, which isn't always great. You know, Sims comes out with something new and I'm just like, oh my God, I gotta have it. And I just bring it home and I'm not realizing, you know, it's a $300 backpack or something like that. I did just get a new dry bag and it's pretty Sims is a chaos lineup, but they are just constantly changing what they have every single day, and it's like it's hard to keep up with it. The good news for you guys is you're always going to be getting good deals if you're like an oddball size, because they are constantly changing what they're offering. So if you're like a medium or a small or something, yep, sushi party at the shop, baby. We could have walleye tataki. I'll sear it up and, you know, I'm throwing away all these like chunks of fish that have like bones in between the meat, and I'm sitting here like, man, that would be some killer catfish bait I'm just throwing away. I should be hooking somebody up with this stuff. But I'm excited to have some fresh fish. I haven't had fresh walleye in almost a year at this point. Where do you go to get your knives sharpened, if you don't mind? I don't even know if I would even be willing to send them somewhere if I could. Man, that is just the sweetest. Look at that white meat. Oh, Drop that into some batter and deep fry it. Oh man, nothing better. Nothing better. I haven't done much fishing with my father, but one time a company he had a company trip and they paid for us to go to some spot way up in the middle of nowhere in Canada. And we actually stayed in like an old train that had gotten abandoned in the woods, and they turned the train into like, you know, housing and stuff. There was no running water in there. They had like a special place, you know, you would go to take a shower and stuff like that. Let's see here. But the pike and the walleye in there is just amazing, and like, holy cow, man, that was my first time I ever had walleye shore lunch. I mean, look at the zipper that came out of the walleye, and just imagine, like, you know, you strip that up and use it for catfish. I just had a question here. I'm going to try clicking on this to see if the questions will come up. Here we go. Live chat. Okay, so... Yeah, so Lucas, yeah, I got that Adam J a center pin, and I was hoping he would do more center pin videos. I mean, he picked that thing up and was zinging it like nothing. I don't know if you've checked that out yet, but it's Adam J, the freestyle fisherman. He's got a video on redfish and stuff. Tony goes for redfish a lot. I might do it for striped bass or something. My buddy TJ I was telling you guys about, who is a fish stud. I mean, just an absolute, like, in his blood, you know. I met a few people in my life who it's really like fishing is like really part of like who they are as a human, like down to the core, and TJ is one of those people, and he's also one of the kindest, nicest people I know on top of it, so he's a great human. But yeah, TJ actually built a slow pitch jigging rod for deep water lingcod and halibut and stuff like that. So yesterday he went out with Jacob Michelet, who's a guide in Oregon. He does a lot of steelhead trips on the Siletz River and stuff like that. And they went out and they slow pitched jigs for lingcod, and they said that they had an absolute blast doing it. And you know, he said the center pin's perfect because when you're on the back of the boat and you're jigging, you know, you just kind of take your hand off the spool, and that jig just kind of slowly goes out a little bit. And he said it worked perfect. So I like to see guys do more with the center pin. You know, there's so many cool applications for it, and guys just don't take advantage of it. I wish they did, but they don't, unfortunately. So yeah, I was thinking I'm gonna start a tournament every year, and I'm gonna have like the best, most unique catch on a center pin, and I'll make a center pin, and that will be the trophy for that year. And you know, I'll do one of those a year, and you would have to send your catch in, and I'd have everybody vote on it or something. I don't know how I would pick the winner. I don't know if you guys want to suggest something in the comments on how you would pick a winner of a contest like that, but I'm open to whatever ideas you guys might have. You guys like that idea, that contest? I mean, if you're going down to the salt and you're going snook fishing or something, typically those snook hang out a lot around pylons and structures, so you really need to have a lot of drag to pull them out of shit. Along with a lot of saltwater fish are like that. But it'd be really cool to do that tournament every year. Yeah, Instagram poll would be good. You know, Instagram and Facebook combination or something. I know Father's Day is coming up here pretty soon. I never get anything good because I buy everything I pretty much want for myself, and it's hard to buy for you when you own a fishing shop and you could grab whatever you want. But if you guys are looking for anything for Father's Day, think of me from the shop, man. I'll hook your chick up. Have her just give us a call and say you want a gift certificate or something. We'll get you set up. So my kids went back to school, and not back to school, but they raised that mask, or they pulled the mask mandate, and I'm telling you, my kids have been getting sick like every other week. It is such a pain in the ass. Like, they are always sick, and I feel so bad for the little girls that I got. They can't seem to get above being sick. I told my one buddy today, and he said he was dealing with the same thing. I don't know if the mask was doing that great of a job that as soon as they pulled the mask mandate, all these sicknesses that were built up all came out at once. I went for a physical the other day. I was talking to my doctor, and she was saying that even adults have been getting sick every other week, which really sucks. So on these new pins I'm just finishing, I got a batch of 565 and a batch of 424s. So the 565s are Michigan State reels. Those are the ones we call mitten states. And we're bringing back the Paragon, which is very limited. All these reels that we're bringing back, there's only like 12 of each of them. But we're doing like the Hydra, the Paragon. What up, Nate? How you doing, bro? The Hydra, the Paragon, the flat face Katana. We're doing the Katana Razor. We're doing the Monsoon. If you guys haven't seen it, we got a new one called the Turbo that's coming out. That one's pretty dope. It's kind of Katana-esque looking. It's like a blade looking reel, but it's got around where it's ported, there's like sandblasting, so it's going to be a really cool two-tone color effect. It'll be the same color, like it'll be blue next to blue, but the sandblasted blue will have a different look than the polished blue. And that's like on your guys' reels, if you look on the rim always is a little different color than the actual like shiny spool itself. But yeah, we're busy. Tony's been working on some fly reels for a little while, but we're so busy with the center pins that we haven't been able to really get this drag done, and he wants to just do a click and paw center pin, and click and paw fly reel, and I just I don't see the market out there that it's worth it. What's up, Duke? Guys, I gotta give my boy Duke a shout out. He just tuned in. So I talked to Duke yesterday. He was ordering a reel, and he told me a story about a guy that he saw on YouTube that always wanted to have one of my reels, but he couldn't afford it, and the guy lived in Michigan. And Duke is such a great guy that he ended up looking this guy up or chatting with him, somehow got his address, and Duke sent him a reel just as a gift and paid it forward like that. I mean, what an incredible act of kindness. I mean, that's kind of what my business is built on, and I often get my employees yelling at me like, stop giving stuff away, man, the sale's over. Why are you throwing extra stickers in the box and shirts and floats? And I say, because it makes me happy. That's why. If I'm not making as much money, whatever, it makes me happy to make someone else happy. So that's what Colville Outfitters is all about. That's why I got people that are willing to come in and help me work around the shop for free and help me move stuff around for free. And it's going to be cool because that shop is going to be a little piece of everybody. And really looking forward to having the space that Colville Outfitters deserves. So all you guys that are from out of town, you're going to have to make the trip over and check it out when it's all done. So, dude, you're just tuning in. I'm filleting some walleye that I caught the other night, bro. Not doing a great job at it. I mean, the fillets look beautiful, but it's taking me a long time. I could do them really fast if I didn't talk and I just focused, I promise. A native friend of mine did a video the other day on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Facebook, and he filleted a spring Chinook that he caught. And I don't know if you guys know anything about the Quinault tribe or how Native Americans cook salmon, but when they fillet them, they fillet them very slow and precise, so they get one side of the fillet connected to the belly and then the other side. So you got a fillet, and the belly meat in the middle of it. And what they do is they build kind of like it almost looks like a small ladder. So it's a stick and then there's crosses all the way up. And what they do is they wrap the fillet around each side of the stick and then they wrap it with something. I don't know what the material is they use. Cedar branches would be smart, or sagebrush branches, whatever it is they wrap it with, and then they stick it in by the fire, and they let it kind of cook from a distance, and they get that salmon just absolutely perfect. For you guys on the East Coast that have never tried a spring Chinook salmon, in your life, you need to try that. It is just absolutely incredible. What up, Rob? How you doing, brother? So I'm going to tell you guys a story. So one time I was in Oregon, probably in 2003, and I was fishing the Sandy River at the Cedar Creek hatchery, and I wasn't fishing the actual Cedar Creek hatchery where the creek comes into the Sandy. I was fishing at that access point, and what I noticed is there is a lot of Cedar Creek hatcheries. If you look it up, I don't know how many there actually are, but when I was bouncing around in Oregon last time, there was I wasn't at the Sandy, I was at two other different rivers, and they both had a Cedar Creek hatchery on them. So it's kind of interesting that they're all named Cedar Creek. I don't know why that is, but I guess because cedars and it's on a creek. So anyway, so I'm fishing, and I end up hiking way, way upriver from the hatchery, and I bumped into this really nice guy who was like the only guy fishing this spot. It's actually him and another guy, and they had pulled their truck right up next to the bank, and I walked far away from my car at this point. I mean, I really walked out, quite a bit, a few miles, And it was one of my first times to Oregon. I didn't know if there was a Sasquatch waiting in the woods, or a bear, or an elk, or what, but I pretty much ended up fishing till it was too late to find my way back. And these two cats, I don't remember the other guy's name, but the guy who owned the truck, his name was Paulie Senjek, and he was from Ohio, but he had moved to the West Coast. So we were kind of chopping it up and shooting the shit or whatever, and we ended up becoming pretty good friends. I actually got to reach out to him and see how he's doing. He, for a long time, was one of those quote-unquote caregivers where he would grow weed for people. And I don't know what he's doing now that weed's legal. I have no idea. But he was a really, really cool guy. He actually gave me I'll tell you about those pliers in a second after this story. But so he gave me a ride back to my car. He had a little tiny Toyota Tacoma. I had to sit in between like him and his buddy, and I think it was a stick shift, and there was no room at all. And I had my center pin rod with me, a custom one. I had to throw it in the back of his truck, so I was bugging out the whole time. So we're driving along this field, and we finally get out of the field. We go up this road. He ends up taking me in my truck, and we ended up becoming friends after that. I got his phone number, and next time I was visiting Oregon, I ended up looking him up and getting a hold of him, and we actually went out and fished. He lived in Washington on the Columbia, but he lived on one of the rivers called the Wind River, and so I ended up staying at his house, and I'll never forget. I walked in, and he had all these like pictures of people's IDs all over the wall. And it looked like a serial killer. It was like hilarious. And I was like really taken back when I walked into his house. So when I asked him about it, he said that those were all of the people that he took care of, you know, and that's how he kind of worded it. Like, and I'm like, oh, those are all the people you take care of? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I grow weed for all these people, and you actually have to have like their license and everything. Good to see you too, Jeremy. You actually had to have your license and everything, so if he ever got raided or got in trouble, there would be all these people's license to show that, hey, this guy's allowed to buy weed from me. I mean, what a thing in the past with this whole weed thing. Like, I knew forever it was going to become legal, but man, all those people who busted my chops, I don't even smoke anymore, but I used to. And all the people that used to bust my chops about smoking, and now look what's going on. The same people who will judge you for smoking pot will get home and drink a case of beer or a six-pack. It's unbelievable. Well, anyways, I'm glad it's legal now. So, yeah, so anyways, so Paulie, this whole drawn out story is all about, the end result is that I got to eat a spring Chinook salmon out of the Columbia River that was dime bright, and it was the best fish I've ever eaten, and I literally cooked it in a fire wrapped in foil, and I want to say I might have put a lemon wedge in it or something, but no seasoning, no butter. And I opened this foil, and the amount of oil that was pooled on top of the fish from having all those oil reserves from these unbelievable runs that these fish make it was a puddle. And I mean, I just drank that oil. It was that good. But I put a little tiny sea salt on it, and yeah, I ate that Chinook. We had some rice or something we cooked on the fire too. It was absolutely delicious. That was a very scary trip. I remember one of the spots we went fishing on the Wind River. You know, these guys got their gear together. They had one rod with them and one little pack of gear and stuff. I got a backpack filled with skein, every salmon plug I own, 2 rods, a center pin rod, and a baitcaster rod. And they had asked me if I wanted. The one guy used to make these like slings for your rod. So you put your rod in this sling, you put it around, and it's like on around your back, kind of like a bow and arrow would be. So he asked me if I wanted to use one, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need to use one of those, bro. I hike some pretty crazy shit where I live. And in my brain, I'm thinking the Niagara River, you can't get more nasty than that, right? So we get to the spot where we're going to fish. We pull to the end of this road, and we start hiking in the woods. And then all of a sudden, the woods ends, and it's the river. And it's like 100-foot drop to the river. And they're like, all right, let's go to the spot. So we're literally scaling the side of this wall, now I understood why they needed that rod holder, that sling that they were putting on their back, so they could use both their hands to scale this wall. And I had, like I said, 2 rods, a backpack, a whole bunch of skein, all kinds of shit. So I couldn't like scale the wall the same way. So I was literally shaking as I was doing this, just absolutely freaked out, like to the fullest, thinking like, I'm like, you know, I'm talking to these guys, I'm like, what happens if you fall off? And they're like, oh, well, you know, you'll fall in the water, but you shouldn't die. And I'm like, shouldn't die? What are you talking about? So, you know, halfway down, you know, we're almost to the spot, and I start freaking out because I can't breathe because I'm focusing so hard on hanging on to the edge of the cliff that I'm not paying attention to my breathing, and all of a sudden I'm feeling lightheaded and panic attacky and all kinds of stuff, and I ended up like telling guys, I'm getting lightheaded, I feel like I'm gonna fall, and they're like, dude, just stop, take a deep breath, you got it. So after this nightmarish deal where I scaled this wall, and I was literally grabbing onto moss and like dirt to like hold myself as I was scaling this incline of a wall. And yeah, we get there and we hike down, we get to the trail, we hike down into there, and we get down there, and I look on the other side of the river, and there's like 10 guys on the other side of the river. And I'm like, what the heck? Why is there all these people on the other side? Did they just do that death hike I just did? No way. So he goes, yeah, dude, you know, if you go that side, you got to buy this key for $50, and we don't want to buy the key. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You don't want to buy a key? You're going to risk your life every time over $50? So yeah, that was the story. And and we did get one springer on a glob of skein, but it was pretty much the only fish we legitly caught. Those guys would fish a piece of corky and yarn with like a 2-aught hook, and they'd go to the most ripping fast waterfall they could find and throw it in there, and somehow they would miraculously snag these fish like somewhere in the face, and they would end up fighting them and landing them. And that's the way they got them when they were getting any sort of numbers of them. And I know those guys would actually sell them to the restaurants and stuff in the town, and they'd also sell them, you know, mushrooms that they would forage and all kinds of unique shit. And that's all the bars and stuff in that area. That was where they would get the stuff, was from local foragers and fishermen. So when you go to Oregon, I got taken to a place for my friend TJ, and they had like some sort of fresh cod, but it was unbelievable. It was so good. And it was at just some hole in the wall bar. You know, they got fresh fish from the oh, I can't think of the name of it. The it's not the Dollies, not the Dotties. I don't know. There's a name of the boats that go out there. If you guys know what that's called, post it below. I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, there's these old fishing boats that go out, and then they get fish for all the local restaurants and stuff like that. And it's like there isn't a lot of communities of these fishermen. The Dories, there you go, he got it. All right, small town angler, bro, if you want to send me an email to CovilleOutfitters@gmail.com, I'll send you out a t-shirt for getting that right. So yeah, so these dories would go out and they would get these this fresh seafood, and unfortunately while I was there wasn't like, the dories weren't going out for whatever reason, but they still had really fresh, really good cod, and it was amazing. It really was rocking. And that was somewhere in Tillamook, I think it was. or one of those little towns. Okay, now I'm going to tell you guys about this pliers that one of the viewers was asking about. So guys, I got these incredible split shot opening pliers that have they basically like 6-inch scissor forceps. They're the green handle with the black steel. One of the handles has a carabiner clip, so they're easy to clip to whatever. They're absolutely awesome. I sold like 150 or 200 pairs in like a week, right? Everybody loves them. I keep getting calls back for them. I knew they were going to be a hit. They took me like 3 years to actually finally get them delivered because I ordered them right before COVID hit, paid for them and everything, and it literally took forever to get them. So I get these pliers. They're awesome. I still have some of the other green handle ones, the ones without the split shot opening point on them, and those are great pliers too. And I do have a separate pair that has like a spring on it, and it comes with like tubing on the tip of it. Those are pretty nice as well. Yeah, so I order these new split shot pliers. I end up having them design the split shot pliers, so instead of being right at the tip where the split shot spreader is, it's actually just above the scissors. So you could still use those pliers just like you would use any forceps to get the hook out of the fish's mouth, and you could also use the scissors to cut your line or get your netting off your hook or whatever it is. And yeah, so I kind of redesigned them a little bit so that little wedge that spreads the split shot would be just above the scissors, and I got them all done. I've been waiting a while. You know, it was supposed to be 5 weeks. It's been like 12 weeks or something, you know, and he finally gets them done. He sends me pictures of them. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm super excited about them. I get a tracking number, and then all of a sudden I get a letter in the mail from the Food and Drug Administration that my package is held for detention. It was super confusing because they said they weren't going to inspect it at this point, and it was held in detention currently. So I guess what they're waiting for is they were waiting for me to identify what they're going to be used for. FedEx actually called me and they said the shipper didn't list each one of your items on a separate line. So the manufacturer put scissors, files, forceps all on one line and then listed a quantity. FedEx needed it scissors one line, forceps, files on each line with a quantity. Okay, whatever, that's fine. If we need to redo the paperwork to get it here, we'll do that, but it's a huge pain in the ass. Like, you know what's in it, x-ray it, you could see the stuff's in there, ship it to me and we're good. So the shipper goes and redoes all of the paperwork to have it, you know, described as they wanted. And within that period of time, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, gets a hold of it and they hold it for detention. Okay? So now my package has gone from the other side of the world to the United States to all these other states, making their way up to till they hit Louisiana. They hit Louisiana, they stop it by FedEx, and then they send it to the Food and Drug Administration for whatever God knows why. They sent it there, and now the Food and Drug Administration is looking into what is in the package. So I called today and I said, you guys could go ahead and open it right up, but just get me my stuff. I got all these guys waiting for, good hemostats and forceps and all this crap. And they got thousands of dollars of my tools that I can't sell to make the little bit of money I have back, especially right now during this big move. I'm going to need to renovate the place. I'm going to need to put a down payment. I mean, there's so much stuff I need money for, and I have thousands of dollars in pliers and hook files and scissors just sitting there collecting dust. So I emailed the guy from the Food and Drug Administration, and he says they're being held because the facility that sent it to me needs to show their paperwork that they're properly disposing of the impurities in the steel, and they need to show how quality the stainless steel is, because if there's chromium in it or anything like that, it can't be used for surgical use. So all these tools they assumed were all for surgeries. I don't know why they would think a hook file is for surgery. I mean, I guess you can use a little tiny scissor for surgery. I don't know why you would think that. I mean, it says Colville Outfitters all over each one of these things. So I'm very frustrated right now. So that's one of the reasons I can never seem to... Every time I seem to get something from a different country, it's an absolute nightmare. But I cannot find people to hand forge a good quality plier and not charge $70 or $80 or $100 for them. I should see if I could dig them up. I have this pair of pliers that a doctor's assistant gave me. They're from Germany. They're just a regular pair of hemostats. They're like $290 for a pair of hemostats, and they don't even look that different. They almost look the same. One of the handles is dipped in some green material. Yes, the jaws on them is absolutely incredible, and yes, they're made in Germany. But I mean, holy shit. 30 or 40 or 100 times the price of what regular pliers cost? Wow. I don't know, they say you get what you pay for, but I don't know if you're really getting what you pay for on that deal. However, I haven't taken them fishing with me because I'm scared to death to lose a $290 pair of hemostats. So that's why I don't have any pliers right now, guys. But I should get some pretty soon, I'm hoping. I do, like I said, I do have the regular Colville Outfitters 6-inch hemostats. If you guys haven't checked out our new website, Adam, our online manager, Adam Turner, who's another great person, he just finished up doing launching our website with my boy Bruce Kowalski from Tar Fishing. Awesome fishing rods if you guys haven't seen them. They worked on a website for the shop, so instead of having to go to somebody for updates and stuff like that, we actually could just do it ourselves. I had to buy a $1,400 MacBook, or $1,600 MacBook, but it was well worth it to be able to update the website, because most of the successful fishing stores, they have an incredible online presence. So I need to get to that point. I need to be doing a lot more money in online sales. Is that gentleman still with me that was from Ohio, that Goffster? Are you still with me, brother? The reason I'm asking about that is the other day, I was talking to the guy who distributes my reels in Michigan, and he was telling me about this place called, I think it was called Mad River Sports, and they're in Columbus, Ohio, and he was telling me they do some ridiculous numbers of sales, like something like 40 million a year in sales, and like 80% of it or something is online. It's just an astronomical number. So I'm trying to get on the online train, and hopefully it won't be too much work to manage it. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but people, Mad River Outfitters, there we go, Jeremy. So, Jeremy, have you been in that Mad River Outfitters? I heard it's like a smaller store, but they do an unbelievable amount of business. They sell something like 40 Temple Fork Outfitter fly rod combos a week, which that doesn't sound like a lot of anything, but they have a YouTube also, so we'll have to check them out, Mad River Outfitters. Apparently they have a college professor that works on their online portion, and he's super savvy on the internet, and he has his students actually work on it, and they get paid. Wow, 1 million a year in online sales. That's incredible. So all these years I just been absolutely missing the boat, like trying to make it happen in the shop, and I've watched so many stores come and go, like so many little shops have come and go, and it's so much work to show up and keep that shop open. I gotta figure out a better way here to, local bait shop, 1 million in online sales a year. Like, that's incredible. Like, to give you guys an idea, like, if I'm sure most of you have been to the website, we do something like 80 grand a year on the website. Now, I grant you, we don't have a lot of reels listed on there, and I don't have a lot of stuff, and it's very unorganized, but we're working on that. It should be absolutely good enough where I can do big numbers. So I might have to I did hire Adam just to cover the online purchases from my original site, and he ended up kind of taking on the role of building the site and managing the site. But it seems like there's just big money to be made on the internet. I mean, it's just like, I'm just not that internet savvy. That's the problem. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit better with that stuff. But man, yup, you gotta have the right people for that shit. But I'll get there. I've been watching every night. I've been watching this this live feed, which I'm gonna start getting into the groove of doing when I get this new place. Oh, am I stepping on a piece of fish here? Or one night throughout the week, I don't know what night it's going to be, Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, I'm going to do a live stream from the shop, and I'm going to do a product review or a new gear release, or a fish talk, and I'm going to try to have a special guest. I've been watching this guy who does the war in Ukraine footage. If you haven't seen it, his channel is called The Enforcer, and it's Enforcer with an E, so Enforcer, and he covers like what happened that day in Ukraine, and it's unbelievable how many people tuned in. Like, that guy, I've been with this guy from the beginning, and he pretty much started with like, a couple hundred subscribers, and within 4 weeks or however long that war's been going on, I think it's like maybe day 85 or day 88 or something in the Russian-Ukrainian war. He's got like 60,000 subscribers, and to answer questions, you have to do a super chat. So if you want him to answer a question, you put @Enforcer, and you give him $5, $10, $200, whatever you're in the mood for, I guess. And that dude's been making bank, and now a he does do a fundraiser on Sundays, and everything he raises on Sundays goes to some organizations in Ukraine that are suffering right now. So he's doing a lot of good, and he's making good money doing it, and it is really really cool. I am so impressed at how much money that guy does. You know, I think on an average night with, he'll have like 10 to 15,000 people tuning in, and the chat is just like with people. It's just nonstop. So like that's why, you got to get a lot of people. I don't know if there's that many fishermen in the world that are interested in our specific type of fishing that I could get tuning in to be able to do something like that. But there's an incredible amount of money to be made in doing stuff like that. And they have another thing called Patreon that, I know it's going to sound ridiculous. I don't know too much about that either. I think you get special content if you subscribe to a Patreon account, but it costs money possibly. I hear guys talking about it, but I don't know a ton about it, to be honest. That's why we need to get more guys. Yeah, I see them all the time, the addicted guys. I know Marlin, and they used to have one of the guys was named Lonnie, and Lonnie works for Salmon Trout Steelheader now. Yeah, those guys were great guys. They actually took me to fish some of their water in Washington, and I absolutely had a blast. I kicked their ass on the center pin, which was really fun. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm shooting for, doing the weekly thing. I just got to find a guy. They got that guy Sean. I don't know how they pay that guy Sean to like do all. I got to call Marlin and ask him. But that guy Sean, he's like follows these guys around and films everything and sets up all the IT stuff. And I need a good IT guy that's willing to do some of this stuff for me. It just, sometimes you get lucky and you're surrounded with those type of people. And I get these great guys that make videos for me and stuff, and they do it for a few weeks. I even pay them to do it happily, and then they just disappear out of nowhere. So that's why you haven't seen any videos from me lately. But it's a crazy, crazy world these days, let me tell you. My glove ripped, so I got a whole bunch of walleye juice in my fingers, so I'm rinsing that off, and I'll be back at it here. But I don't even know what time it is. I don't have a clock here right now. I don't know, is there any other fishing streams you guys watch that you really like? I like the Salmon Trout Steelheader. It's not a live stream, but I really like their videos. They have Bill Herzog as a guest a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen Bill Herzog, but he's a big name in the Pacific Northwest. He's an absolutely incredible angler. He's forgotten more than what I know, and just an awesome all-around fisherman. Good jig fisherman, good spoon swinger, good float fisherman. He says he's got a center pin. He doesn't use it too much, but he says he's got one. But yeah, after seeing that Enforcer live stream, the wheels in my head started spinning. There's got to be something you can do. And these guys don't even show their face. They just show a map. Wow, $2,000 a night. Unbelievable. I think they do it. What do they do it, Jeremy? Every Wednesday or something like that? They do those Wednesday or something. I like it because, I'm such a late night guy. I really get my second bolt of energy later in the NZ Trout Hunter. New Zealand trout hunter. I gotta check him out too. Is that a live stream, Bobby, or is that just a channel? You know, the problem with the addicted guys is it's just, for me, it's just gotten stale. Like, there isn't much new stuff I'm seeing that I'm like, oh, wow, I got to tune in and watch it. I used to tune into it all the time when I first found out about it, but it's just not interesting enough anymore for me to be like, you know, watching that over, you know, when I have time to watch something, you know, I want some entertainment value. And there isn't much entertainment value in those. They go live. Yeah, yup. You know, I would do the egg curing thing. I'm just not giving you guys that secret. Like, I refuse to do it. Sorry, I love you guys, but you can buy my cure now. Half the secret is the cure. The other half is how you actually, like, do the eggs. But if you go on our website now, I do have my own bottled cure. It's called Chrome Cure. So the giveaway, Jeremy, I can't remember what they're giving away. Is it like providing pictures, or what do they do for giveaways? I like to do random giveaways like I just did for that one guy who guessed the dory. They sell Procure. Yeah, I know the owner from Procure, or the chemist from Procure. His name's Steve Lynch. And they were trying to mix me up some batches of stuff. They sent me about 10 different things, but whatever the sodium they use in there was making my eggs like, you know, they say it's supposed to preserve the eggs better, but it was making my eggs get like this really funky, like white mold on them for some reason. And I'm telling you, the stuff I use, I've had eggs in there for 6 months in the fridge. They're not really meant to, they're meant to hold up about a year, but they never get white mold on them. If they turn bad, they typically will get black. So it's very strange that the Procure stuff I was using, I love Procure, don't get me wrong. I'm not down talking them at all. I'm just saying the cures that they mixed me up based off my recipe didn't come out as good as like their store-bought mixes and stuff like that. But the cure I have right now is called Chrome Cure. If you go on the website, it's on there right now. I need to grab another drink. I got, my lips got sunburned the other day when it was 89 degrees. And I swear it's sucking all the moisture out of my mouth at all times. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas, a lot of you guys all know me personally that I see down there, and you guys know how I am. You guys can tell me anything. I'm totally happy to, what up, Maddie Grubb? I'm totally happy to listen to any sort of idea. I mean, I love making my business your business and like really letting people contribute to what I do. It's really cool, and it makes the business that much better. I don't know how much battery I have left to check, but I'm probably, I'm still doing pretty good here. 2 more fish. And then I'm gonna eat some ice cream and take a shower. What's your guys' favorite ice cream? Lately, I've been eating this ice cream called Sweet Jenny's, and it's from, I think that's from Columbus, Ohio, or Cincinnati or something like that. And that is some bomb-ass ice cream, let me tell you. They have one called Cinnamon Bun Sizzle. Here's an interesting fact for you guys. Did you know in some places in the country, they also, let me read this real quick. Wow, that's interesting. You guys look at Duke's comment about the scent and stuff being on the leader. And I've seen that myself. If you guys have ever used any sort of like gel or any sort of smelly jelly or anything like that, and you put it on your jig head or something, and you run your fingers up your line a little bit, it basically makes your fluorocarbon uninvisible under the water now. So what Duke was saying is you don't want to put it in your leader and stuff like that because it won't work as well if you do that, which I absolutely agree with. I'm in agreement that you should do whatever gives you more confidence. If you think that scent is going to help, or no scent is going to help, or a lighter leader is going to help, use whatever you think, because I could tell you in my fishing career, when I have second guessed myself, or if I go out fishing and I really didn't want to go, like I was kind of forced to go, I usually don't do as good. And I'm telling you, I stand next to guys that I'm giving them bait and I rig their rod and they're excited to be there and they're catching fish and I'm not. I'm telling you, there's some sort of weird energy thing in fishing that I cannot explain. Hey Duke, have you ever caught a walleye before, buddy? But anyways, back to my ice cream. So last night I went to my favorite pizza place locally, which if you guys are ever at the shopping in town, you got to go to this place in Hamburg. It's called Butera's, and they do like a coal oven or wood-fired pizza, and they have really incredible dough. I mean, the crust a lot of times is the best part. And Adam ordered a pepperoni pizza, which was good, but it's nothing as good as their margarita pizza that they just have, you know, homemade cheese and homemade sauce and basil. I mean, that's where it's at for sure. Okay, I think this fish is pretty spent. So anyways, I want to finish telling you guys the story. So we went to had this brick oven pizza, and there was this ice cream shop across the street. It was called Main Street Ice Cream in Hamburg, and they have some pretty decent ice cream. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not anything I would tell you to order on the internet and get it shipped there and pay a bunch of money or something, but it is really good. So I walked over there and I said, "Hey, can you do me a scoop of every ice cream that you guys make?" So what I want him to do is, which is exactly what he did, is he's got like 40 flavors that he makes in hard ice cream, and he did a scoop of each one of them and put them in like these plastic containers, and we got to go through and do like a sampling of each one of his flavors, and they were pretty good. I mean, it wasn't Jenny's ice cream, but it was decent. But if you guys get a chance to check it out, you know, I know they have them in Michigan. I found it there, but they make a yeah, pistachio is good. But if you guys have a chance to try this ice cream, it's called Jenny's, and it's out of Cincinnati or Columbus, and they got a flavor right now going that is it's called hot skillet cinnamon roll, and you're like, that sounds weird. Why would a cinnamon roll be a hot skillet cinnamon roll? I never heard of that, right? So I read the back of the package, and I guess in some places they have these cinnamon rolls that they put on these cast iron pans, and they dip the cinnamon roll in like a cinnamon and sugar mixture, and they get it all slopped up, you know, with the cinnamon and sugar, melted butter, or whatever it is. And then they take that cinnamon roll and they put it on a cast iron skillet, and then they stick it in the oven, and they pull it out, and they keep drizzling the cinnamon sugar sauce on top of the cinnamon bun, and it gets like this hard caramelized cinnamon sugar deal over the top of it. And then they pull it off the cast iron skillet, scrape off whatever was left in the cast iron skillet, and then they do that classic cream cheese frosting on it, kind of like Cinnabon. And I don't know where you get one of those, but if you guys know, I'd love to hear about it. I'm a big cinnamon bun fan. Last time I was in Oregon, I had got my rental car, and like one of the first exits that I pulled off, man, I can't remember what the town was called. I don't think I was still in Portland, but one of the first exits I went off was like a Flying J's gas station, and they had a Cinnabon stand in there. But this place was so ghetto. I mean, I hear these people from Portland talking about, like, in Seattle, talking about like the tweakers and stuff like that. And holy cow, you should have seen the people in this Flying J's gas station. I mean, it was pretty damn scary. I did see some really awesome vehicles though parked out there. I don't know what if they were drug dealers or what, but there was some sweet ass cars there, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, so that's my favorite Jenny's one out right now. They also have a Boston cream pie. I'm gonna get one out of the fridge or freezer and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So next time you're they have them in Myers in Michigan, I know that. And I'm sure, I don't know what the main supermarket is in Ohio, but I would imagine they have to be in Ohio if they're in Michigan and they're in the Wegmans in Buffalo, New York. By the way, did you guys see that horrible shooting in Buffalo the other day? Pretty jacked up, huh? 10 people killed by that shooter from Binghamton. Just really, really messed up, man. Can't even go to a supermarket and enjoy shopping. So yeah, that guy's gonna have a tough time in prison. I think his name was I know his last name was Gendron or something like that. Peyton Gendron, his name is. And yeah, out of all the major cities he passed, apparently he came to Buffalo because we had the highest minority population, and the gun laws are so strict that he knew no one would be carrying a personal gun. And yeah, so there's a lot of sad families. Buffalo, there's a lot of the supermarkets that are in lockdown right now. It's absolutely a horrible deal. I truly feel bad for those families. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but it looked like a video game. It didn't even look real. I mean, it was just disgusting. But what I will say is, at least it wasn't like a movie theater. Like, I will say it could have been worse. You know, it wasn't a movie theater where there was a bunch of kids in there. It wasn't a school, although this guy apparently did threaten a school at one time. So, yeah, he was an evil human being. That's for sure. But just bizarre that this guy he left. He drove past Rochester, Syracuse he drove past all these places to get to Buffalo. It's just a bizarre thing. I try to cut these walleye fillets up in like small portions. Every time every time I seem to cut them up, I always end up trying to put these big, huge pieces in, and I got little pieces, and the little pieces cook first, and no, it's funny. I said on Facebook the other day, Duke, like when I go to Indiana, that's like what do they call it? Not they have an open carry law in Indiana. When I go there, you're fishing and you're walking the rivers and you're seeing guys carrying handguns on their hip. And it's so different from New York. So in Indiana, guys are going up and they're like, oh, check out my new Colville center pin and my new Glock I got. I don't know much about handguns, but my 353 or whatever gun they have, and they're comparing their guns and their reels, and if you figure with that shooting, if one of the people in that tops would have had a gun, maybe the outcome would have been different. Maybe someone would have got that dude the second he started shooting people. Either way, it's a shitty, horrible deal. I'll tell you that much. And if you thought gun laws were strict in New York before, now they're going to get really bad. But like I said, at least it wasn't a school, and I'm glad there's this new New York Safe Act. Yeah. But there's this new New York Safe Act, and when I go to get my daughters from school, they literally, you are not allowed to enter the school. It's one kid at a time, comes out, and it's one teacher that goes and unlocks the door. It's it's the way it definitely should be, for sure. I feel a lot safer with my kids with this new Safe Act deal that they got going on. But oh my God, I couldn't imagine if my mom just happened to be shopping at Tops. Tops is the shithole of the supermarkets. But I couldn't imagine if your mom was there shopping and then she just got blasted for no reason. It is just messed up. There's a lot of sad families out there right now, I'll tell you. But yeah, I know. On a good note, where Duke lives in Washington, there's some decent cutthroat fishing. I don't know if you've been cutthroat fishing, Duke, but I know that's been pretty good from what I heard in Oregon, at least. I don't know what you're seeing in your rivers. Duke lives right on the Puget Sound, and I was talking to him yesterday, and he was telling me about how there used to be all these rivers in his area that were loaded with steelhead, tribes of the Puget Sound, and now there's nothing in them. They're barren now. Nope, there's no armed guards at my kid's school. I know that at one point they were talking about allowing teachers to carry guns. This is years ago, I think, when that Sandy Hook shooting happened. But yeah, I don't know whatever happened with that. All right, one more to do. I'm going to show you guys that badass ice cream, and then I'm getting out of here. So if you guys got any questions or you want me to talk about anything while I do one more fish, I love chopping it up with all my people, so let me know. Any topic you guys want. I know a lot of shit about a lot of different things. Nothing? Come on, guys. Yep, Pinland time. So, yeah, there is a lot of Pinland fishing in Pennsylvania by me, and I'll tell you, when I was going to the Allegheny the other day and looking at all the little rivers, everything had a lot of water. You know, I guess I'm not used to going out there that time of year. You know, normally I don't start trout fishing till the wow. I usually don't start trout fishing till all the steelhead are gone, and the steelhead are absolutely not gone yet. So I kind of burned out of the steelhead fishing kind of early this year. But wow, armed guards in the schools, huh, Jeremy? Unbelievable. You guys that are watching from other places, do you guys got armed guards in your school? Do you know? That's pretty incredible. Holy cow. You know, I want to say too, the other day I had one of my customers, I'm not going to say any names, but his son was either 11 years old or 13 years old, and his son committed suicide in school. I don't know how he did it, but like, man, what a thing to be a parent and live with that. I couldn't even imagine. I don't know if it was a bullying thing. I didn't want to get into it, but he got a hold of me for a custom reel. A lot of people do that a lot of times. They'll get a hold of me and they'll a lot of times customers will have a tragedy, and they'll get their first thing they do is they want to get a hold of me if their kid likes to fish or their dad likes to fish, and they want to get a reel. And a lot of times they do it prematurely because they can't afford it after they have to deal with all these, you know, funeral expenses and stuff. So I always kind of hold back until, you know, I know for sure that they want it. But yeah, just really sad shit, man. I thought kind of bullying had gotten better if it was from bullying. But yeah, a lot of strange stuff. Hey, Ken. What's up, Andrew? That's my buddy Ken right there. He's a local guy, one of my best customers. And his little son, I think he's Ken. How old's your boy? I think he's 10 or 11 maybe, or 12. And the kid's already catching a steelhead on his center pin, and Ken's nice enough to buy his kid a couple center pins. The kid's already decked out with a purple and green reel and everything. All right, here comes the last fish, guys. This is the biggest one. I'm making sure this nasty slime that's at the bottom of the cooler all goes in the cooler and not on my new countertops. Not that I can't just wash it off. I shouldn't be such a wuss here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. All right. This is the last walleye. So these guys are all like, this is probably 22, 23 inches. Most of them, you know, the limit is like 16 or 17, or the limit is 16 inches or 15 inches, but you very rarely catch those small ones anymore. Years ago, I used to have to, you know, really measure each one of them, but lately we've been catching a lot nicer ones. I am worried about all those little baby trout I was catching the other day in the Cattaraugus. That's why, guys, you don't want to keep fish out of the Cattaraugus. 24.5 inch minimum. 5.5, 15 inches is 15 inches is minimum size. And you're allowed to keep 6. I wish they would make it 10, so these fish had a better shot. So all these little steelhead and browns and stuff had a better shot to make it. Nice. Yeah, Jeremy, they got that new that hatchery on the reservation, and the walleye are just like they're like packed in the Allegheny now. They're catching some big ones. I know the other day, I was talking to someone who got like an 11.5 pounder out of the Allegheny. That's a big fish. I also know somebody who caught a 11.5 pounder or 11 3/4 pounder in the lower Niagara, which is a pretty jumbo fish also. And he caught that casting from shore, so that's pretty damn cool. So this last weekend, it was my daughter's birthday party, and we did it at Chuck E. Cheese. And man, she was in her glory. Holy cow. Unfortunately, I have the Chuck E. Cheese song stuck in my head. I've had them all week. I need to like listen to some like reggae music or something to stop thinking about it. Wow, 13-pound walleye. So Tyler, you're saying that the limit is 10 fish a person now? The problem is what keeps happening is when someone says something. Oh yeah. Yeah, like Jeremy, when you get down below Warren, it's like all walleye, muskie, pike, all that shit down below Warren. Yeah, it should be 10. Absolutely. Should be 10 for sure. But yeah, the Allegheny River's got some incredible fish in there. They fish like they catch a minnow, and then they thread the minnow with like one of those double prong hooks, and so the hook goes out of the tail, and then they use a like an egg sinker, and they kind of roll it along the bottom, I guess. And then I would imagine, Jeremy, you're probably are you jigging for him then with like a twister tail or a bucktail with a worm on it or something? Or a jigging wrap, I would imagine. Yeah. That's like my favorite. That Allegheny River system is like my favorite system for inland trout fishing, that's for sure. This knife is getting really dull. Thank God this is the last fish. I do have an entire pile of knives next to me, but they're all dull. I looked up knife sharpeners in Buffalo, and that seems to be like a thing of the past. Like there ain't many guys who their profession is sharpening knives, I guess, because there's so many interesting kits and stuff. I saw it the other day. I saw an app on the phone that you kind of place it on your sharpener. It tells you the exact angle it needs to get sharpened. All right, last one. Now I just got to clean these guys up, and thanks for kicking it with me, guys. I appreciate it. Always love to hear from you guys. I don't get much time to like sit there and shoot the shit really anymore. Like you guys seen, I got like 3 or 4 phone calls since I've been on with you guys. I got to deal with this FDA with these pliers and crap. Oh, wow, okay. That's cool. How do you hook the minnows, Jeremy, to keep them alive? Like, which way are you hooking them? Are they like emeralds? Or are you using chubs or golden shiners? What kind of bait you like? You should have seen in the Cattaraugus the other day the size of the emeralds that were in there. They were like that big, 4 or 5 inches. I mean, just they were bigger than the baby trout I was catching. Some of these emeralds, they were unbelievable. And normally, when you get those emeralds and you stick them on your hook, you get instant steelhead or instant brown trout or something. And I don't know why, but they just weren't biting it, man. They still wanted jigs or eggs or something. It was really bizarre. Okay, here goes that one. Get this belly meat. I'll tell you, this belly meat right here, it is really good. It's got like a shiny silver side, but it's like all fish. I mean, they say that's where all the bad meat goes and everything, but I don't believe that. That's usually the best oily section. I would think there was more, if there was any sort of mercury or carcinogens, I think it would be more in the bloodline in the back, like right there, you know what I mean? I usually cut that off the back of the fish. My kids don't like anything fishy whatsoever. So these, the bigger they get, the more of that bloodline they have. It's not like their stomach meat gets more dark. It's like the bloodline gets more dark. So I can't imagine that it is in the stomach. So do they stay alive if you put it through the belly? Are you using that double hook rig, Jeremy? That pronged hook? It's got like 2 points on it. I know that's what they pretty much use a lot up in Kinzu and stuff. Have you ever caught in a big brown while you were walleye fishing there? And I want to thank you for your participation, bro, while I'm doing this. Brook. Some nice back straps. Some nice belly meat. Oh, yeah. One more fillet, guys. This is your chance. Anything you guys want me to cover? You got any questions? Yeah, I guess that's talking to my one buddy who fishes the Allegheny a lot. I guess that's what they do, is they use that double prong hook. And yeah, there are some monster browns, usually where you don't think they are. Like typically to find the big brown trout, like the other day where I was exploring, I explored this non-stocked river that was stocked like years and years and years ago, but it has a bunch of little tiny tribs that have natural fish in it, like natural, like brook trout and stuff like that. And most of the river runs on private property from where I was. Yeah, Debsic. Is that how you pronounce that? Yeah, I actually do have some used reels right now. They're almost brand spanking new, but they're not going to be that much less of a difference in price, but you will have some savings with them. The more used they are, the cheaper they will be. And I'll tell you, I've seen some of my buddies get some unbelievable deals if you look on Facebook. They kind of just wait till the person, discounts them, and then they hop on them. And my buddy Tommy got a Paragon the other day, a 2019 Paragon Platinum. He got it for $250, and it wasn't stolen either. I actually looked up the serial number to make sure because I didn't believe it. I don't know if you guys know this trick. I usually don't share, how I'm filleting shit, but with the rib cage right here, these rib bones that are at the bottom of the walleye fillet, if you flip the fillet flesh side down, and I can't touch my phone, but you basically get the corner of this, the back, and you kind of just feel the bottom of those belly bones and just run them right down along the bottom of the bones. You'll actually take out all the belly bones. Yeah, bro, with the new shop, if you scroll back in this video after I save it, I'm talking about the new shop in there. I'm closing on June 1st if all goes well, and it's gonna be awesome, man. I'm gonna cornerstone a lot of really unique stuff at that shop. It's really gonna truly be a community angler shop, and yeah, I'm gonna have different areas that you're gonna be able to subscribe to. So if you want to build rods or do a repair on a rod and you want to use some of the equipment but not buy it, yeah, I'll have subscriptions that you could come in and use all the rod building stuff, or if you wanted to use some vices, and then if you wanted to do the rod building at your house, I'll have all the stuff available to buy right there at the shop. The thread, epoxy, the blanks, all kinds of good stuff. So we're going to do that. And then we're also going to have a lounge in there, a fisherman's lounge. And I'm hoping that there's a men's and a woman's bathroom in there. And you guys know how the bathroom is at my current shop, where the toilet doesn't flush all the time and I don't let people use it, and it's really inconvenient and annoying. Well, this store has a men's room and a women's room, and it's got a whole bunch of bathrooms in all the offices. So we won't be having any more problems in the future. So I'm really looking forward to it. But the ladies' room bathroom, I'm hoping to turn into a fillet station and an egg curing room. So I basically want to take the bathroom, I want to put a stainless steel bench or bar in there with one of those fish grinders that goes right out to the sewage treatment plant. And like if you wanted to, if you caught a fish and you had a subscription where you paid to use a fish cleaning station, you can bring your fish, fillet it all out. You don't got to make the mess at your house, spray it down, and then take your bagged fish out of there. And it would be part of one of the package subscriptions at Colville Outfitters that we're going to have. So I'm hoping to do that. I'm also hoping to have some live bait as well. I hate live bait, as you probably know, because I don't have it at my shop now. I do have any live bait that can go in a refrigerator that doesn't stink and doesn't have maintenance. That's pretty much what I carry now. So night crawlers, red worms. Sometimes I have spikes, aka maggots. Sometimes I have wax worms. I always have egg sacs. I always have skein in the fall. But I don't like guys having their $600 Sims jacket or their $800 pair of waders smelling like bait when they buy them. So I just dump that minnow tank in there until I get a bigger place. And the exhaust, like the air circulation in my new place isn't the best. In my current place isn't the best. So I'm going to wait to get the minnow tank until I get in the new place. And it should be pretty neat. I'm looking forward to it, see what it brings. I'm hoping to hire a couple new people. If you guys haven't been to the shop lately, I do have a few new guys working for me. I got my buddy Jake's working for me, my buddy Alex, my buddy Jeff. There's some really cool guys, younger guys. So, if they don't know everything or know where everything is, don't go too hard on them. Be patient. They're great people. All right, one more zipper, and that's going to be it for me, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Man, look at how much... Incredible. I can't believe how much red bloody crap, the bloodline on the back of this. It's only a 22 or 23 inch fish, and there's just so much more. Yeah, I'll tell you, unless you're fishing a tournament, you could keep those bigger walleye. I'm telling you. So I mean, look at how much of that meat, that red shit, is on the back of these fillets. So yeah, and it's crazy. Yeah, once I start getting more products, the more products I add to the lineup, once I have this extra space, so many things open up for me. So I'll be able to make my, have my own brand of hooks, my own brand of swivels, which I have all this crap now. It's just I don't have the room to put anything else up on the wall right now. So yeah, so I don't really sell any of that stuff right now, but you can ask for it, and I'll pretty much give it to you if you ask. Yeah, I mean, look how deep that red goes into the meat too. So like the bigger the fish go, I mean, the fish they even get tougher, and they just taste so much more fishier. I shouldn't be complaining about walleye right now. I mean, if you catch steelhead here, they all taste bad pretty much. The whole steelhead is like this. It's like a grayish, weird color meat. And then you go to Oregon and you fillet the steelhead and they're bright orange. It's like just such a difference in fish, and it's due to their diet too. So we do have shrimp in Lake Erie. Actually, in all the Great Lakes, they're called bloody red shrimp. You should look them up. They're from one of the ballasts that were in either Lake Superior or Lake Ontario, but they're in all the Great Lakes, and they're called bloody red shrimp. And the fish that eat a lot of those shrimp, like the small cohos and whatever fish, I could bet you if you fillet them, they're going to be brighter orange than a fish that isn't eating those red shrimp. But diet is huge for the quality of meat. I'll tell you, this red meat is so nasty, it doesn't even want to zipper off the fish. All right, we got some good looking meat here, guys. And I am going to, but I mean, could you imagine this for a catfish bait? Oh my God. So I feel guilty throwing this out, but holy cow. Catfish would go nuts for this. Wow. When I clean my hands, I'm gonna get back to that question from that gentleman about the used reels, because I do have a few guys that every single fall. Yup. I do have every fall. I have a few customers that bring in the reels from the year before, and it's kind of like a car. They don't want to deal with any sort of maintenance. They just bring it in, drop it off, and they're ready to rock and roll. I'll tell you guys another little good thing I learned today. Did you guys know that you can't recycle any sort of plastic bags in your recycling bin? It throws the whole entire recycling system off at the recycling plants, which for all these years I've been throwing in all my clean Ziploc bags and my shopping bags and all that crap. And they said that in the recycling plants, plastic bags are the recycling plant's nemesis. So don't throw any recycling bags in your any plastic bags in your recycling bin. So that's going to change a lot for me because I used to throw a lot in there. Hopefully I didn't mess that plan up too often. All right, I'm going to wipe this piece of fish off my neck, and I'm going to answer a couple questions real quick. I'm going to go throw this fish in the fridge. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to grab you that ice cream to show you too. All right, thanks for staying with me, guys. So this is the brand. It looks backwards to me right now. It could be just because I'm looking at it. I don't know if that looks correct to you guys. I don't know if you're viewing what this actually is, but that's the Jenny's ice cream I'm talking about. If you see this label, it is the absolute bomb. My buddy Jeremy from Michigan, Jeremy Ballard, he is also a ice cream fiend, and he was stuck on fish food from Ben & Jerry's. And I told him that this stuff was better, and he didn't believe me. And then you should have seen his eyes light up when he took the first bite of chocolate blackout cake from Jenny's. He was losing his mind. So they have a Boston cream pie one, which is really good. Yup, no more campfire s'mores. Heartbreaker. Actually, you can still get it at Feel Right. Alright, I'm going to look at these messages real quick. Okay. Live chat. Okay. Let's see. Deb's sick. Where can I get that info? Types of reels. So, Deb's sick, if you give us an email at colvilleoutfitters@gmail.com, it's COLV as in Victor, ILLE, and then it's outfitters, OUTFITTERS @gmail.com. If you go there and you send us an email, or you could just go to colvilleoutfitters.com and send us an email and we'll get it. I will hook you up with my phone number, and then I'll text photos. Actually, I'll just give you my phone number now. So only text this number before you call it. It's 716-572-9268. You can call that number. That's to order the reels. The other number it's pretty easy to remember. This is a call-only number. It's 716-627-7335. You could just remember it as 716-627-REEL, REEL, if you have one of those older phones where you could see the numbers as you're pressing it. So I do have a used Delta 495. I have I could even sell it as new, but I have a used 565 Leviathan. It's a beautiful reel. It's pine and bronze, but there's some killer reels. That trichrome reel that you're talking about, those typically have like custom anodizing, and the custom anodizers charge me an astronomical amount of money. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone's work and what they think their work is worth for how much time they put into it. I'm just saying it's expensive because you go from a $600 reel to a $900 reel or a $1,000 reel just from the finish of the anodizing, which is a lot of extra money. You're almost doubling the reel. And if you do it to a Pinland reel, now it's almost more than the Pinland reel. You're literally doubling the cost. So yeah, check us out. Shoot me a text. I'll be glad to get you one built by fall here. I got a bunch of 4.24 inch reels coming. They're the Pinland XLs. I don't have one up here, and I'm not running in my basement, But yeah, so I got those coming, and I got the 5.65 inch coming. I do have some 5.35 inch reels in the case, some 4.95 inch reels in the case, and I have some 3.95 inch original Pinland reels in the case. And we're currently out of chromium 14 and 16. We have a little bit of 20 left and a little bit of 12 left in the regular smoke camo color, so I apologize. I'm trying to get more made right now, but I do have Blood Run on hand if you want that. That stuff is pretty darn good too. And should have a bunch of cool stuff coming up here, guys. I got some tons of new prototype blanks. I got the new Striker blank. It's a 3-piece, unfortunately, but it's phenomenal. They did a great job on it. And if you want to check out one of those Made in America Pinland rods, give me a holler. I can get you a blank set up, or we could even build you one. All right, guys. I hope you're all doing well and staying fishy. Love you guys. Take care. Tight lines.